world. And it's not just from the political angle, because you can get that on other platforms, but it's always from the biblical angle. So you're dealing with a guy that loves Jesus, you're dealing with a guy that's very intelligent, you're dealing with a guy that is cutting edge conservatism, and you're dealing with a guy that wants to be biblical all at the same time. And so for that reason alone, I hope many, many people will not just lift up his ministry in prayer, but will also financially get behind it, because from the angle I'm trying to describe, he really is the only game in town. And we desperately need it in these last days. Can I get an amen to that?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me. We are live on worldviewtube.com or worldviewtube X and Rumble. Also, if you do have our app, you can watch us there. And if you don't have the app, you can get it for free on your app store, WorldviewTube. We're also live on X America News X. We're also live on my Substack, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. I think that's about it. So wherever you are watching us, make sure to share, thumbs up, comment. I don't know, do whatever you can do to put us on the algorithm. Because I went to bed last night. I'm just gonna get to it. I went to bed last night with a complete planned Monday program. Like, okay, tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to touch on that. I'm going to touch on that. Woke up this morning, pretty early morning, because I normally, my Mondays start pretty early. I woke up and yeah, nothing, not a word of what I had planned will be included today, because I woke up to so much going on that is getting bare minimum coverage as always, because, well, we don't talk about this kind of stuff because, one, it goes against the narrative. Two, who cares? We're comfortably numb. We're completely fine. And then there's the crew that covers it up because, well, some people might actually see right through it and be like, oh, what is happening? So there's a lot to cover. And I actually, as we were getting ready to go on air, I did give a heads up to my producer, like, you may want to remove one of the headphones because I might most likely yell a lot today, because I am, I am not okay. This is not okay. What is happening? What has started happening from last night, our local time being morning of Europe and Middle East, until this very moment, as it is, what is it, 4:04 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, September 22nd. Nothing about it is okay. None of it should have happened, but guess what? It has happened. So we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about them. Question is, where do I start? Here's where we will start. This is nothing new, but it seems to be getting worse. So for those of you who may not follow at all and not care, which you should, this is the week. As of today until end of the week, the 30th, basically 7 days, until September 30th, it's the week of UN General Assembly Convention. This year is the 80th year of it. 80 years ago, supposedly they decided that, okay, as the chair of UN put it out himself, 80 years ago, from the ashes of the war, they decided that if you start this General Assembly, then we can move towards peace. Huh. Okay. And they're very proud of themselves because they think today, after 80 years, they have achieved much more peace. And we're just gonna soon have the rainbows and unicorns flying everywhere and across the world, and we're all gonna be happy. That's what they think. The first day, which is today, is mostly everybody arriving, lots of handshaking, lots of photo ops, lots of red carpets down. As I posted on my Facebook earlier today, is the day when JFK airport becomes the busiest airport as these heads of states and governments arrive. But of course, I had to add my own touch to it because it also becomes the busiest platform, busiest airport that welcomes with a smile and hugs and peaceful handshakes, welcomes some of the worst tyrants, dictators, jihadists, and globalists to United States of America. Now, I already, as I said, it's 4 o'clock for some in the afternoon. I already had people commenting or messaging of, well, this is a UN assembly. It has nothing to do with US. Number one, it does. You know why it does? United States of America does have the power to say the UN Assembly Convention shall not be held in United States of America any longer. Did you know that? Did you know there's no gun on our head to every single year to present and host this 1 week of convention? Did you know that? You didn't know that. Is that why you keep telling me that we have no choice? It has nothing to do with US, it's UN. No, it does. Every single time the current US government, depending on the year, decides to continue hosting this useless waste of time and money and a platform and a microphone for propagandas and lies to be spreading across the world, it's a choice by US administration to continue giving them the platform, the building, all of it. Okay? They don't own that building. UN does not own that building. And even for a split second, if they did, again, we don't have an ultimate, never ending, never expiring contract. Let's not mention what happened to we should just walk away from UN anyways. What happened? Anyhow. So yes, it does. Now, also, every single person who arrives in America to go to this convention, either as a speaker, as a representative, as a translator, whatever, you name it, whatever figure steps down at JFK to get to this building and to this convention shall have an American visa. You know who issues those visas? Because UN doesn't. UN does not issue visas for US. US issues visas for US. Every single visa is issued by our immigration. It is. And last week I made a post. Well, I shouldn't say last week, as of last Monday. On Thursday, I made a post on my Facebook and I said, another talking the talk personality, referring to Ted Cruz, who suddenly woke up Thursday morning saying, oh, I'm going to push something to show that I'm against this movement. Let's make a rule to not allow anyone under personal sanctions to get a visa. Really? Of course, I was attacked by Ted Cruz followers and supporters of at least he's trying. No, he's not. It's time for you to start reading between the lines. It's time for you to realize Ted Cruz has been in that position for a long time, a very long time, waiting 3 days. Well, technically 5 days, 3 business days, 5 days before the arrival of these heads to try to stop their visas that were issued 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks before his attempt. It's clearly another political charade put up by Ted Cruz. Anybody who's cheering him since Thursday, stop it. He didn't lift a finger. You still can't see these charades? You can't see how much of it is just theater to try to get your vote next time? Look at his resume. He tried. No, he didn't. As I said, these visas, some of these visas were issued about a month ago, which would have been about 3 weeks before he tried to stop some of these people from coming in, supposedly. And again, he's been in that Senate seat for a long time. I don't know the exact time, but it's been long enough for him to genuinely get behind it and put an end to it. Every single year, week before General Assembly, UN General Assembly convention, one of these senators or one of these Congress members of the right comes up with, we got to stop this. Oh, I was too late. I tried. Vote for me. And every single year, Americans fall for it. Every single year. And I will, by the way, yes, we are live and I see some of your comments coming in and I will address all of your comments. I really hope you have a lot to say about everything we talk about. So today was the first day. Tomorrow, September 23rd, is the first debate. They call it the debate day, right? The debate day is when all the heads, not all involved, the scheduled heads, I should be careful here because this goes on for 7 days. The scheduled heads of states or governments will get behind that microphone. We've all, like, I think we can all draw the background and the podium of UN Assembly with our eyes closed. They get behind that podium and that microphone, and they will express their stance, their concerns, their whatever they want to talk about, and then go sit down. How do they call this a debate? That's beyond me. I have no idea. Because from what I understand is if you get up there and if this is a debate, you stand there from, let's say, one of the Islamic countries' leaders and you start bashing Israel and making threats toward Israel, the Israeli representative should be able to get back up and debate you on it. That's not how it works. Don't let the terminology fool you. None of the debate days are debates. It's one individual from the country stands there, say whatever they want to say. It could be the truth, it could be peaceful, it could be warmongering, it could be lies, it could be propaganda, whatever they feel like it. They just stand there basically and practice our First Amendment and then go sit down. I want to read. I should have this up here ready to go. There you go. I have it. I want to read the confirmed speakers of tomorrow on September 23rd. But before I read that, I want to read this to be exact because this is important. So this was put out on June 26th of this year by the chair of UN Assembly. 80 years ago, not 80 years ago. From the ashes of war, the world planted a seed of hope. One charter, one vision, one promise. That peace is possible when humanity stands together. Seed of hope, one vision, one promise, and that is peace is possible when humanity stands together. I'm going to do this daily. Let's review tomorrow's speakers. The 23rd speakers. I need to keep an eye on my clock as I do this. I have enough time. Okay, so I'm not going to read the names. I'm just going to give you who. So the first speaker will be Secretary General of UN Assembly, President of the General Assembly. Then we go to President of Brazil, President of United States, President of Indonesia, President of Turkey, Erdogan, President of Peru, King of Jordan, President of South Korea, Emir of Qatar, President of Suriname, President of Lithuania, President of Portugal, and President of Uruguay. Did you catch the names like Turkey, Qatar, Jordan? Yeah. Humanity stands together. Without zooming in too close, 3 of your speakers, General Assembly, on your first big debate day, 3 of them are heads of countries that lacks understanding and comprehension of human rights, let alone providing it for its citizens or other people outside of their country. And this list is going to build up, as I said, as we get through the week. I don't know why, with one write-off of UN is such a waste, we just move on. Like us saying UN is a joke, it takes its power away, right? Are we ever going to address the details of the issues? And are we ever going to force our administration, the guy who's our guy, to actually put an end to it? I highly doubt it. We got to go to our first ad break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion on this panel of U.S. General Assembly. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Melissa and I have been taking Bella Grace, this powerful elixir, since last fall, 2023. The results have been amazing. My hands would crack and bleed, deep cuts and cracks every winter for years. No matter what we did, we couldn't get them to stop cracking and bleeding. This year, I took Bella Grace, no cracking, no bleeding. My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHouseBG.com.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. Let me address some of the comments, as I said I will. Hi, Dan. It's so good to see you on a Rumble and on Substack. Stephen, you're correct. The U.S. is the #1 funder of the UN, and that's where I say stop attacking me for calling out what's happening in New York and telling me that it has nothing to do with US. It has everything to do with UN. If US wouldn't fund UN, UN most likely would cripple and not be in New York doing an annual 7 days out of the year, giving platform for propaganda and lies and enabling and more budget to killers. We have a stupidity epidemic in the world. We do. I don't think it's the stupidity. I think it's the comfort zone. It is the comfort zone. It is the lazy zone. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to get into it because if we do, then we have to put our energy into it, and then we might be, losing friends, and we might lose our paycheck, and this and that happens. It's just safer. It's safe. It's comfortable. It's easy. So let it go. I think that's what it is, and also the guilt, which is a topic I will talk probably on third or fourth segment of the day of today. Okay, so we established at day one. We established, UN assembly, New York, JFK becoming all busy. This is where this day has become something. Seriously, something. Do you all remember Abu Mohammed Jolani, the man who the United States had a $10 million bounty on his head? Can we pop that picture up for our audience to refresh their memory? So, yep, there we go. This guy, Abu Mohammed Al Jolani, for a long time was hunted. Our FBI and our military were hunting him. But this morning, under the new name of Ahmed Shara, he arrived at JFK in New York. And yes, he's wearing a nice suit. Can we pop the morning picture of him in his gray silver suit? Oh, look at that. He does not look like a jihadi anymore, does he? As Barry said last week, President Trump says he's a good-looking guy. By the way, apparently my standards on Trump on a good-looking guy is very different. But yeah, this morning we made history and nobody is talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. United States of America made history. On September 22nd, 2025, we made history. Our administration made history by not just allowing, not just shaking hand, not just legitimizing a terrorist jihadist who was wanted by our government, but by putting down a red carpet and giving him access to JFK and then New York, because he's now here representing Syria. Now, this is where I'm going to offend a lot of you. So I'm warning you, turn off the channel, go to another channel. Don't stick around if you do not have what it takes to hear a very, very good dose of reality. This all happened under President Trump. The bounty was lifted by President Trump. The sanctions were lifted by President Trump. Even acknowledging the change of name was approved by President Trump. We're going to brush over the compliments of good looking part for now. The travels and visit and shaking his hands happened by President Trump. Love the guy, hate the guy, doesn't matter. Be proud of what he's achieved in last month in White House or his first term in White House. What happened this morning? It's not something you cover up for him, wash it down for him, water it down for him, or brush over it for him. You can't. Let me rephrase that. You can. But if you choose to do this, I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, when did you become the protector of Trump legacy over an American with concern with our freedoms, liberty, and safety? Because if you're okay with this, if you will find some way to excuse his behavior, if you call this arrival in New York a diplomacy, a 3D chess, or whatever it is you've been using to excuse Trump's absolute enabling of jihadists in Middle East and in America, then you have no concern. No concern. Don't call yourself a patriot. Just don't do that. Because patriotism doesn't fit into your mindset right now. And as I said, what makes it worse? I woke up pretty early, and until I get on air, I flipped through every single conservative, Christian, Bible reading, Jesus preaching, alternative media rumble shows. They didn't talk about it. They didn't even bring it up. They didn't even mention it. You know, I bet they probably don't even know about it. I'm willing to make that bet. They probably don't even know about this guy in America today. Why? That's why I'm here. Because they go hunting for victories. Yes, the conservative channels, the conservative Christian specifically channels and networks and shows only go looking for what they can bring to you to keep on feeding you this illusion that, aren't you tired of winning? Are you tired of this and that? Trump 2028? So, we sit here all day long and we point our finger at mainstream media and the leftist media for giving you one side of the story, twisted side of the story, lies, not the truth. So I'm going to tell you that about conservative Christian shows today. Again, on the Christian side of things, no Christian should be okay with a jihadist. It's not like he came to Christ, right? He didn't. Jihadist with thousands of innocent Christian blood on his hand. Do explain to me, how can you be okay with his status this morning? Again, this isn't just about some guy in a good-looking suit and a nicely trimmed beard and a fancy sunglasses arriving at JFK. This is a man who killed Christians because they were Christians. His military is still killing Christians because they're Christians in Syria. So, as a Christian, tell me how that's okay. Now, as an American, tell me, how is it okay for our government of whomever, whatever administration, how is it okay for our administration to issue a visa for a man who was hunted by our government, wanted by our government, known as one of the most notorious Islamist terrorists by our government, from data status to a visa to be welcomed with a red carpet for this man in less than a year. As an American, tell me, how is that okay? I'm not being sarcastic, genuinely. Maybe I am biased. Maybe a couple of bad experiences of my childhood is affecting my judgment today. So please do tell me, as a Christian or as an American, how is this okay? Now, let me ask you, as a MAGA, how is this okay? I thought MAGA was about America first, wasn't it? Or am I wrong? I thought MAGA was make America great again because Trump is going to put America first. Now, tell me, how does allowing a jihadist rebranded by Armani suit coming to America, again, not crossing border with help of cartel members, no, coming to America by an invitation and a visa. How is that America first again? How? How is America being made great again when we legitimize and empower murdering jihadists who hate Americans? Am I missing something here? I will glance at the comments to see if maybe I am. Maybe I am missing something. Thank you, Dan. Dan Dreyer thinks I should get that $10 million. I'll take it. Exactly. Put a lipstick on a pig, and it's still a pig. Thank you, Dan. Why didn't I think of that? When President Trump stands there complimenting the guy on good-looking guy, and again, I just want to be clear, I very disagree with him. I have a very different taste when it comes to good-looking guys. You know, he's not a good-looking guy, but for President Trump, somehow the guy is a good-looking guy. Good for President Trump. I am counting seconds for actual active MAGA members to please excuse this one for me. I can't wait. You guys have come at me during the 12 days war of Israel-Iran. You have come at me regarding the Saudi Arabia deal. You came at me pretty good during me exposing the Pakistan negotiations and deal. Some of you actually accused me of desperate enough to make Trump look bad, that I'm making things up because Trump would never do business with Pakistan. And then a week later, actually, White House put out the information about the closed deal with Pakistan. So come at me for this one. Bring all of your logic, all of your excuses, all of your reasoning, and tell me this. If today was September 22nd, 2022, 2023, 2024, how many of you out there would jump on cameras on your shows with emergency breaking news to say, look what Biden administration is doing to America? Look how Biden just signed off on allowing actual known jihadists in America. How many of you would be screaming, turning red, throwing things in your studios to bash Biden administration for Jelani having a visa and a red carpet and a private lane to land his plane at JFK? Stop being hypocrites. A sin is a sin. And yes, I will take long pauses today because I need to watch what goes from my brain to my mouth. Good timing. Let's take our next ad break. I'll see your comments coming in. When we come back from ad break, I will address your comments. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now, especially if you did stay with me until now. I appreciate that. And yes, head over to your um, App Store on your phone, on your device, and look for Worldview Tube. Get our app. As I said, it is for free, but it makes life a lot easier because, first of all, you get notifications, so you don't have to refresh a page. Secondly, I don't know about you, but I pretty much do everything on my phone, so it becomes a lot easier. Let's head over first to Substack comments. Deborah says, thanks, Ina's leftist propaganda for total control is so transparently seen. I'm just hoping there is a method to all this madness equals some ver. You're welcome, Deborah. And I appreciate you being here and I appreciate your comment, but I will make it tweak there. There is no more leftist agenda. I'm sorry. I am so sorry, but I just established what just happened this morning. It wasn't a leftist agenda. It was the red-green agenda. It was a globalist agenda. It is way past leftist. Our issues today are I'm not saying left is not a problem, by the way. Don't get me wrong. However, the picture is way bigger now. We got to zoom back. Like we have zoomed in on the left, right? Let's zoom back. Let's zoom back. I would agree with the leftist agenda, as I said, if administration was Biden, Kamala, Obama, but it isn't. Sickening cannot excuse and very disappointed in Trump. Jelani is evil comes from Sherry. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Yes, that's where I'm at. As I said, I woke up pretty early. I started seeing the UN Assembly updates, and as soon as I saw Jelani's picture and the updates, I was like, I can't. Until today, I have credited President Trump when he did good. I kept saying maybe he's doing all of these and that and these and that because his advisors, whatever. But after today, I can't. I, I'm out of excuses. I'm out of excuses not just for Trump. I'm out of excuses for America. I can't. That's why I gave a heads up to my producer. I'm like, heads up, take one of the headphones out. I'm going to be yelling and screaming. And the yelling and the screaming isn't anger. It is the absolute disappointment. How? How? This guy's face was plastered everywhere in every network for the wanted terrorist. They took the chaffee out of his head, gave him a good haircut, took out the military jacket and replaced it with the Armani suit, and we're done. That is insulting. How are Americans not insulted? I have no idea. Because what just happened is they are insulting your intelligence at this point. I believe in God's world, nothing happens by accident. Maybe him coming here is part of the plan. I believe it is not falling apart, it's falling into place, biblically speaking. I absolutely agree with you, Jeff. You know my stand. You know where I am with my faith and Bible and Jesus and God. But that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. That is no excuse to stay calm and continue watching the propaganda. No, Jeff, I agree with what you said. Absolutely part of God's plan. However, does that mean we shouldn't react? Does that mean we shouldn't report? Does that mean we shouldn't call our representative and ask them, what are you doing? Not blocking Jelani from coming in? Because Congress members could have stopped any of these people from coming in. No. Let's not confuse biblical prophecies with our lack of reaction on earth. Two very different scenarios. We have to draw the line. We have to draw the line. We cannot continue praising an administration that just did this because we believe it's part of the prophecy. We can't. We got to call them out for what they just did, regardless of if you're right about this being part of the prophecy or wrong, right? Christina, Jesus always sits on the throne. Always. And that is one of my complaints. The level of how much humans have forgotten when you praise a man, when you put your full trust in a man, you have forgotten who's in charge. Uh, uh, Deborah, I don't think it's that simple to get rid of the globalist in U.S. And the argument starts right here. Just a few interactions with the comments, right? One problem is that again, a lot majority of talking heads for conservative programming. I would say again, you just look at the top 10 shows on Rumble on the editor pick. They will defend this. They will cover this up. You cannot get rid of any. It's that again simplifying it. I go to the doctors and they tell me I have cancer. I come home and I don't tell my friends and I deny that I have cancer. Is it going to go away by itself? Of course not. That's what's happening. We have allowed the cancer of globalism, socialism, communism, Islamism, all of them, keep us spreading because we kept denying the diagnosis. Because one way or another, under whatever circumstances, acknowledging the cancer would have hurt our feelings, would have hurt our agenda, would have hurt our sponsorship, would have hurt our paycheck, our status, our likes. Why do you think my show on my platforms is like barely getting any, except the Substack? Shout out to Substack for not suppressing my project, my pieces at all. So there's a denial. As long as that denial is in place, and then there is a cherry picking. Those who acknowledge the cancer, but the cancer is just because of the left. We got to get rid of the left. We got to get rid of the left. And then the right, the most MAGA administration of all time, just allowed Jelani in the country. That's not a problem, though. See, one-sided tunnel vision fight. You're constantly fighting with this tunnel vision. That's also a problem. So unfortunately, to answer your question, I don't think if we keep going the way we're going, we are not going to get rid of globalism and its infiltration in America. Righteous indignation, it's called. Is that what it's called? Okay. And Sarah Adams has been screaming from rooftops too. Yes, Sherry, she has. She has. She has been pointing out Al Qaeda, Al Qaeda, Al Qaeda. Hey, guess what? Oh, a few days ago, FBI even put out a warning of Al Qaeda is very active. But then guess what? We're gonna go ahead and let Jelani come in because we believe he's a good-looking guy. He's not affiliated at all with Al Qaeda or Islamic Jihad or any of that things anymore. I mean, I'm worried soon Trump administration is going to come out and say, "Oh, we went with him for his baptism." Like they will lie that far to protect this guy. Okay, I want to make sure I'm seeing all the comments. Hi Billy, it's so good to see you on YouTube. A sin is a sin. You're right. A sin is a sin, no matter what were you looking at. It is still a sin. It is, and that's the problem, Billy. We have become so soft, right? If it's, I published a Substack a few days ago, and I pointed this out. I broke it down. That when it comes to left, Christian conservatives have no problem calling out their sinful lives and their non-biblical lifestyle. But if that one person is somehow fitting to the narrative of the conservatives and the Trump administration, will accept them, no problem. I actually gave examples. Rappers, activists, administration members, everything. So yes, that is the problem. I don't even know what was the title of that Substack. It's not important. You can go find it there. But yes, that's our problem. We have become extremely soft. If it's, I think I named it something like when political loyalty blurs the line of biblical loyalty. We have that problem. We are not loyal to Bible anymore. We cherry pick whom we call out, whom we correct, who we preach to, who we don't preach to. You know, there are boundaries and lines involved, which is not what we're told to do. I did not know this until you said it. My neighbor would be over later. As a Christian, I love everyone, love them enough to tell them the truth. I will make another short on this. Well, yeah, I appreciate that, Anne. And yes, if tell the people, I'll get to the next fantastic heartbreaking news in a minute. But today I've been just calling for do something, and do something doesn't mean crazy things. Again, I started this show by saying, please share this. Nobody's talking. I'm not asking you to share this so it goes viral and I become famous and I go collect sponsors. I ask you to share because nobody's talking about it. And mine saying on 100 views ain't going to make a difference. And I'm tired of that. That's why I keep writing. Because thank you, Substack, and my subscribers on Substack. By the way, in midst of all of this, Mia screaming, and I forgot to say that super shout out to everyone on Substack. Thank you. We actually passed the first 1,000 subscribers last Friday, I think, and about 10% of you guys have stepped up, and out of the 1,000 subscribers, about 100 of you became paid subscribers. We're halfway there to achieve the goal where I can hopefully keep my show 5 days a week or 4 days a week, but we'll see if we get there. On that note, I do encourage you to subscribe to my Substack if you haven't, because I do a lot of writing that does not get shadow banned or filtered or censored. And also I do a lot of exclusive behind the paywall reporting and analysis and exposés and teaching on Islam. Okay, I only have 1 minute 20 seconds left on this segment, and it is my third segment, and I have to try to get to the topic. So let me conclude on this. I will report constantly next 7 days as far as what is happening with UN General Assembly. Again, another reason to subscribe to my Substack, because I post a lot of notes on my Substack. Update. Not articles, but actual updates. I'm possibly on air maybe an hour tomorrow and day after that, but the report and coverage will continue on my Substack as to what's happening with UN. And then when it's done and over with, I will write one extensive long piece about it, and hopefully you'll help me get it out there. Because as I said, Jelani is the biggest monster. But this morning also, Arakchi, Iran's foreign minister, arrived in New York. Just so you know. Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, is scheduled to arrive tomorrow morning. You just noticed Jordan, Qatar, Turkey, Erdogan. That was my topic today. I was going to talk about Turkey, Erdogan, Trump, but I couldn't. I can't wait for tomorrow or day after. And many more are coming. Some will be arriving later tonight, tomorrow morning. Depend on when they're scheduled to speak. They don't show up for the whole week. They show up and they leave. Sometimes they show up, they stay a couple of days and then leave. So it is seriously time to put aside your differences of Republican versus Democrats and your absolute undeniable hatred for the left, and start paying attention to both sides of the aisle. And it's time for Americans to take action to put an end to this hosting of UN Assembly anyways every year. But on top of that, we got to push for no more jihadists coming to the country, or you will be held accountable regardless of your last name. We got to go to our last ad break. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
But with Brandon, it's always cutting edge stuff happening in the world, and it's not just from the political angle, because you can get that on other platforms, but it's always from the biblical angle. So you're dealing with a guy that loves Jesus. You're dealing with a guy that's very intelligent. You're dealing with a guy that is cutting edge conservatism, and you're dealing with a guy that wants to be biblical all at the same time. And so for that reason alone, I hope many, many people will not just lift up his ministry in prayer, but will also financially get behind it, because from the angle I'm trying to describe, he really is the only game in town. And we desperately need it in these last days. Can I get an amen to that?
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Sorry, I was looking that way. I didn't notice we're back. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I genuinely mean it. Today program, any of you who are still here, you're seeking truth. You're not seeking approval of your party. That means a lot to me. We literally have 12 minutes. This one takes more than 12, but let me hit on it, and we'll discuss it further later. Okay. Let's do this. Thomas, let's run that video first before I go on a rant here. Let's play the video first.
This plaque, which reads, "The Embassy of the State of Palestine," the Embassy of the State of Palestine, will be placed right behind me in this building.
In Farsi, we would say, "In yeki nadarade." I've been thinking, how do I say that in English? How? What? What? What you just watched was our local time, September 21st. However, England local time, September 22nd, when UK, United Kingdom, moved forward with their offer a few months ago and officially acknowledged Palestine as a state. You saw the sign. State Embassy of the State of Palestine. You know what comes with that embassy? Oh, so much. So much comes with that. What is wrong with you people in UK? Yes, I am asking you. I wrote a Substack around noonish today covering this, and I titled it "The Britain Crowned Palestine." And yo, I shouldn't be rattled at all, but I am. Why should I not be rattled? On the Substack, I broke it down. Again, encourage you to go read it. It's considerably shorter than my usual Substacks, but this is not the first time that United Kingdom has done this. United Kingdom has a long history of playing God with borders and using their pen to create new borders in the states and countries. But today in 2025, for so long we sat here and we said UK has been infiltrated by population of Hijra, Islamic migration. Today I realize, no, we were past that point. The infiltration has turned into full conquer of the government. Palestine, that never existed. Palestinians that don't exist in any historical genes and race are now official. As simple as one pen, one signature, and it's done. And of course, few hours later, Canada followed. Canada. I know I have a lot of audience from Canada. Wake up. Australia followed. Portugal followed. You want to mark my words that tomorrow, as the president of Portugal is scheduled to speak tomorrow, is going to stand there and brag about their move today, brag about how we just through diplomacy and talks took a step further toward peace. Because here's how UK phrased it: we are protecting the possibility of two-state solution. What? I never thought this segment would be so hard because I gotta watch my language. But if you could just read my head right now, I would definitely be fired from YouTube. Palestine is now official. The state of Palestine is official. With that sign that will be hung, which it is hung already behind him. By the way, that building you were looking at, the guy who's talking, they used to be the Palestinian delegations who had an office there, and their sign said the State of Palestine mission. That the word mission is embassy now. And you know me, words are important. And going from a mission to an embassy, they just Europe, okay, US and Europe in one day, like, have mercy on me. My hands are still shaking, and I feel like I hope to get through the day to the night and not have a heart attack. In one day, US and Europe both proved by action with results and humans showing up that we are at a point where Western countries will reward chaos, blood, jihad, and terrorism. As some big names out there said, it just seems so right to say, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Jelani killed innocent people, Christians, Americans, Syrians, Iraqis. And he just got a red carpet at JFK today. PLO paid cash for Palestinians who killed themselves killing Jews or got arrested killing Jews. Hamas has been killing innocents since 2006. And they just got their embassy in London next to Mayor Khan. Now tell me, West didn't just show that the more barbaric you are, the more we will bow and appease you because we're cowards. Land of the free because of the brave? You can kiss that one goodbye. Because we are located in every Western country, as I said, Canada, Australia, Portugal, England. This morning I said France is next. Watch as France will be the next one. And watch as US will be the next one. Watch as US will be the next one. Where do you think they're going to locate their Palestinian embassy? DC? New York? California? I don't know. Who cares? They don't. They don't. They just won the embassy. The West today, between Jelani, Arakchi, Pezeshkian, and Palestine, they just proved that the days of brave is over. We're nothing but a bunch of cowards now. We don't fight. We don't fight our enemies anymore. We appease them. We ask them, where would you like my neck so you can land your sword on it? Netanyahu called this wrong, and I agree with him. I expanded on my thoughts, a little less emotional, a little more factual. I mean, my points are still factual as I talk to you, but on my Substack, I expanded on why I titled the show that Britain just crossed the line and the target is Israel. They know very well. They knew. This is specifically UK now. 1917. Do you remember the 1917? This fire started with UK. And they want to stand there today and claim they helped bring peace? You started this chaos. You started this fight. You promised the land to Jews as you were still negotiating the very same land with the Arab Muslim leaders. And no, you didn't help bring peace. You just added fuel to that fire you started in 1917. To people of England, one of you kindly made a comment on my post about this, and you said, my government does not represent me. I appreciate the gesture, but let me correct you. If you don't stand up to your government, they do represent you. Because officially, UK just put Palestine on the map. Now I'm going to turn around to my fellow Americans. That not my president is what got us here. The denial has created a situation where the consequences are going to be bloody. Put aside your absolute praise, never dying loyalty to Trump administration and pick up the phones. Pick them up. Not only to talk about Jelani, no, to also talk about Arakchi, to also talk about Pezeshkian, and the rest of the leaders who have been given visas to come to America. And then also make sure to tell your representatives, write to the White House, write to Hexet, anybody you can think of. And make sure you make it very clear that United States of America shall not follow United Kingdom. Because that day is when, well, let me not go there yet. I'm out of time, guys. I will be joining Brown House tonight for Worldview Tube audience. I will be joining Brown House tonight on Brown House Live to discuss further all of these issues. So make sure to tune in. I mean, I know you already tune in, but you hear the rest of it there. Head over to my Substack, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. It's going to be very busy over there for next couple of days. Liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Become a paid subscriber if you can afford it. I really need the support. Also, head over to my artist studio, lutfstudio.com. lutfstudio.com. Use promo code MISSION for special discounts. And bookmark the page. My Christmas, the special items are coming next week. I appreciate you. I appreciate you staying and not actually leaving when I ask you if you don't want to hear the truth. Until tomorrow, you stay safe and stay vigilant. Keep checking my Substack. Updates are coming about UN Convention. I'll see you tomorrow.